welcome back to Parts Not Payments. Today we're going to be working on the Camaro again. We're going to be tackling the water leak, which is also an oil leak coming from the lower intake manifold and valve cover. So we'll be pulling the upper intake manifold, the valve cover, the distributor, the air intake, and whatever else gets in our way. Pull all that off, clean it real good. You can see somebody's been in here because this orange silicone leaking out everywhere is not factory. Okay, it's not the factory sealant. You can see the valve cover down there's pretty wet. So it smokes a little, which I don't really care about that, but it's blowing up on the back bumper cover on our new paint, so we got to get that fixed. And I've already started draining the water out, which was pure water, so it's good we did this before winter. And crack the block, even though we have other engines to we could put in. So I'll grab my tools and we'll get to work. Normally you could leave the throttle body on the intake, but there's so much orange silicone on everything, I'm just taking everything off. That thing's so, I mean, it's just brittle, it's breaking. The car also doesn't have a thermostat in it. It doesn't warm up like it should, so we'll probably throw a thermostat in it because it's going to start getting cold here pretty soon. So this is where your EGR goes back into your intake to help with fuel mileage on the interstate cruising. Here's the distributor in the back. See that? Junk. Silicone everywhere. This guy just loves this stuff. So now we got that out of the way, let's start working on the intake. And doing jobs like these, I like to just put my bolts back in the holes because I don't always remember where stuff goes. So this is, you need a 10mm for these bolts and a 13 on the throttle body, which if you're doing this and your gasket looks fine, you can just leave your throttle body right on there. And these are also 10mm, so we'll go around and crack all those loose. And it should just lift right off. Oh, that one's sticky. Alright, let's see what we can do here. And oh, throttle cable bracket's gotta come off, of course. Pop that off real quick. Okay, so the guy before me must have really twisted up this line. I don't know if you can see. Yeah, you can see how mangled it is. So we're gonna replace that fuel line just because it's easy to get to. It's right there. Why wouldn't you have fixed it the first time? All right, here we go. So we got the, what I thought was gonna be the lower intake off, but really it's the middle. And trying to get this, gotta take that valve cover off, get that off. That's convenient. But we might not, I think we're gonna have to pull the distributor. I can't tell. This is a really usual intake, but we'll get the shop vac out here too and try to vacuum up most of this dirt and leaves before we pull the intake off and get it all down in the cylinders. We'll also go ahead and pull our thermostat housing off right here, and a little bit of coolant or water will come out, but it'll be fine. Here's your coil, distributor, cap, rotor. So, alright, I'm gonna get back to work. This is your part of your crankcase ventilation. You don't really need that. PCV, positive crankcase ventilation. You don't really need that unless you're in California. So we'll get rid of that. But yeah, doing good. It's a nice day out. Nice and hot. So I'm gonna keep working while the kids are napping. And I'll be back here in just a second. Come in here and, oh, that's nice and loose. That's probably why it's leaking. Well, these valve cover gaskets, you don't have to kill them tight, but they do have to be tight enough to seal. I'm just kind of curious to see what the valve train is going to look like under this valve cover. See how much sludge is in there. You can really be able to tell if it's had its oil changed regularly or not. If they're not good on keeping up with the oil changes, it gets pretty chunky, full of sludge. Alright, let's see what we got here. If we can get her off. So, I need a little persuasion. Uh-oh. Oh yeah, look at that. Nice, there's probably my... Holy moly, that's gotta be where my oil leaks are coming from. What? I think it's the original gasket, and he just RTV siliconed over it. So there you go. There you have it. Yeah, that stuff is brittle. There's no way that was replaced with all that silicone. So, it doesn't look that bad though. It's not real sludgy. Sometimes it's like you can't even see what you're looking at. There's so much slime. Alright, so we got all the intake off and out of the way. Distributor's out. Couldn't get past it with the intake. You gotta pull your rocker arms loose, loosen those, and pull your push rods out because the gasket actually goes between the push rods and the cylinder head. You'll see when we go back together. And keep track of your push rods because they're different lengths for intakes and exhaust. So we got the lower intake back on, and just starting to go through and set the rocker arm preload. It's not the bolt style like a lot of newer cars. You actually have to adjust the nut down, so you have to spin the engine over, and when the easiest way I found is when the exhaust is all the way open, you adjust, and the intake's closed, you adjust the intake down. And so what we're going to do is run this down until you just have a little bit of drag on the push rod. Back it off just a little bit. So right there I got a little bit of drag on it. And then I'm gonna go a half a turn of preload onto the rocker because it's a hydraulic lifter, and that's about where you set it at. And then you'll take your ratchet and spin the engine over and do the next one. You gotta go all the way down the line, both sides, and get them back to where they need to be. See, this intake just opened all the way, so now I can adjust this exhaust where Just a little bit of drag on the push rod when you try to spin it, and then we'll go a half around. Got the firewall all cleaned up. Just wiped it down. Intake is on. Valve covers are on. Got this part of the intake all cleaned up. It's degreased. It's just kind of bare aluminum looking, so it's kind of rough looking, but it's all clean. Now we're gonna keep going back together with it. All the injectors are in enough, you know, what we're doing. We'll hit that with a ratchet. You don't want your fuel injectors blowing out. And let's find our fuel lines. We got these custom fuel line guards on there. Aluminum foil. To, oh boy. Got them twisted up here. Oh boy. Where did that go? Oh yeah, that's where that goes. On that stud right there. You see that? We know what we're doing. Why is this so bad? What happened here? Who took this apart? Talking to anybody that's listening. Anybody out there. Is that how it was? YouTubers? Me tubers? That must have been how it was. That's terrible. We should really replace that, but we're not. So I'm gonna tighten those up without the camera shaking. Just a second. Alright, I got our feed and our return lines tightened back up. This guy, I'm telling you, I don't know if that's even flowing any fuel, but it ran good before, so it should run good again. So we're gonna leave it. I think the kids' books, I'm just gonna say 4 for $1. Alright, that's about as far as I can go tonight. I need to get a new thermostat. Then we can button up the throttle body and the thermostat doesn't ever close, so the engine never warms up. and it's gonna start getting cold here soon, so we want to get that. Yeah, kind of been wiping down the firewall when I can, cleaning it up. So I guess I'll see you tomorrow. Okay, we got the lights back on in the shop, and we got the family with us today helping us work on the car. Intake's back on the return fuel line. I went with a rubber hose this time because that steel one they had was all mangled up, and to get the right shape it was just easier to go with the rubber, which will be fine. It's a pipe thread. I got it at Lowe's. It's a pipe to barb fitting, and then put a hose clamp on each end. I just ran it right here and should be fine. We're gonna get to putting the distributor back in. So what we first did was we took out the #1 spark plug, which is passenger front corner of the engine, passenger side of the car. Took that out, spun the crankshaft over until the piston was all the way at the top. Did that with just used a clothes hanger to stick in there until it was as high as it needed to be. And then my timing marks on the crank were real close. So we're gonna start there. We'll drop the distributor in with the with the rotor pointed towards the #1 cylinder. So it's gonna look something like that once we drop it in there. Have a new O-ring on here, right here. Doesn't come in the intake gasket kit, and this is a gasket off a small block Chevy.
So if you want to ride on that carpet, you can. That.
This is so easy to do. I might be able to do it one-handed.
I did this.
I can tell it's not quite all the way down, so we'll try to give it a little turn on the crankshaft, and it might just fall right in. After turning the crank a little bit, I was able to get it to fall down on the oiled shaft that drives the oil pump. So that's it. Putting #1 cylinder. We're gonna install our hold down and just snug it up a little bit to where you can still adjust the distributor once you fire the engine up. Once you get your distributor set in and get it snugged up, hook up your two your electrical leads, and then we're going to put our cap on and snug it down, and then we'll start running some plug wires. So now we're going to hook up our plug wires, and you got to go in order. It's really hard to remember the firing order on these. It's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Yeah. So 1 being here, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So we'll start 1 right here. 1, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So on, so on, so on, all the way around. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. All right, let's get them plugged up. And there you go. All plugged up, wired up. Coil goes to the center, obviously, just like you took it apart. Fuel lines are hooked up. I think we have all the vacuum lines hooked up. I don't know. And radiator's full of coolant. So we'll clean our tools up, pop the battery back in, and see if she'll fire up. All right, let's give her a try. Got good oil pressure. I'll get the timing light out and set timing. And it should be good for a test drive. So just want to double check everything. I got a little exhaust leak. I hate that, but this is just to get us by for a little while until we can get the engine swapped in and you know, put some real power in it. Alright, we got a little heat in it, got her warmed up. Timing light's hooked up to the #1 cylinder. The pickup. I come over here and see where we're at on our timing mark. I don't know if you can see here, but I'm gonna get her dialed in here a little bit. Kind of hard to balance everything. Yeah. Pull. That's it. Just double check, make sure you've got all your leaks done, your air pockets out of your coolant system, and take it for a test drive. Don't forget to tighten down your distributor now that you have everything set, and take it out for a cruise. Enjoy it. So that's what I'll be doing here in shortly, but right now it's time for lunch. So we'll see you next time on Parts Not Payments. Thanks for watching.